Good morning. Welcome to Big Bets on Campus Live. It's 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Stuckey, and joining me, as always, is our college football betting connoisseur, Collin Wilson. And of course, back this week is our college football insider, Brett McMurphy. We have a lot to get to. Best bets. We have two marquee games to cover. We'll even get in our weekend round robin parlay. I do want to remind everyone you can find our picks, lots of actionable data and content on the award-winning Action Network app. Let's first kick things off with our college football meteorologist, so to speak, and bring in Mr. Collin Wilson here to take a look at the board. Give me something that's lit up here that's on the move this morning. What are you saying?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of games that have lit up this morning, a lot of totals that have moved around, but they haven't quite crossed a key number like Iowa and Nebraska have. That's come from 41 down to 40 and a half at most shops. There's some 40s out there. And the reason that's important is because 41 is in the top 5 of, key numbers of college football totals. So you need to think if you're going to take an under here because Adrian Martinez is going to miss this game with a shoulder injury. And that had a huge dramatic impact early in the week, knocking the spread down 3 to 4 points at a lot of shops. But now it's wreaking havoc on the total, which is coming down. Nebraska has announced that freshman Logan Smothers is going to be throwing the ball today. And that's going to be really tough for an offense that has a hard time finding points anyways. And Adrian Martinez is the only explosive option that they have. And this is a reflection of tempo also. Iowa's 118th in offensive finishing drives, and they're outside the top 100 in the speed of their offense. And then, Nebraska's still trying to cover games. They're still trying to get that win. They've been a covering horse for us. They're going to do everything they can to extend drives and win this game against a really stout Iowa defense. Not a lot of points here, not a lot of answers for Nebraska on offense in their last 4 quarters of 2021.
Yeah, there's also, I do like the under here. There's also some rumors out there about Iowa dealing with a flu in their quarterback situation. So I think this will be very low scoring. You look at this Nebraska offense and it's like, where does the offense come from? It comes from Adrian Martinez creating. Adrian Martinez also likes to give the ball away too, which can create offense for the other team. So without him, it's like, the Nebraska defense can step up here. So I do like the under. Good stuff there. Let's move on to our best bets on this Black Friday. First, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Collin still in the lead overall, but I'm going to catch you. I'm going to try to at least catch you by the end of this season here. And let's try to find some winners here. I'll kick things off with my best bet for today, and that is Utah State, New Mexico under 48.5. New Mexico's quarterback situation is in flux, to say the least. They potentially, depending on health, could be down to the graduate student manager playing quarterback who was recruited in 2017 as an option quarterback, and he might actually get a start today because they've had so many injuries. And last week, their 5th string quarterback from last year got the start, and he got hurt. So, and ever since Terry Wilson, the Kentucky transfer, got hurt at quarterback, they've been playing extremely slow. The New Mexico defense actually has been playing pretty well. They're kind of San Diego State light in scheme with their coaches. So, if you look at some of their metrics, the defense is playing well. I expect them to play really slow. I don't know. Look at what their offense has done. Their own coach, their own head coach last week, right? This is week 11, said our offense is a joke. So I think that this is a really low scoring game. You hope that Utah State doesn't put up a 50 burger, but I think this is an underplay here. Collin, where are you going?
I'm going to go with my Hogs. Woo Pig Suey in the first half, -8. You can shop around out there. This is a heavily motivated Razorback squad, not just for Sam Pittman looking for another one of those payday bonuses, getting to 8 wins, but the fact that they've won this Battle Line trophy once since the trophy was created, since 2015, in this manufactured rivalry that we have with Missouri. It's a revenge game from Pittman last year where we lost a lot of defense, over 50 points scored. Barry Odom, our defensive coordinator, used to be the head coach of Missouri. There's a lot of motivation there. But frankly, this Missouri team, I know they've covered 3 in a row, but that's because they kicked 2 field goals against Georgia and covered, I don't know, 40 points. They beat South Carolina by 3. You got Dan Mullen fired. I think he wanted to get out of there anyways. And before that 3-game against the spread streak came around, you only beat Vandy by 9 points. So I'm not a believer in the Missouri offense. I'm definitely not a believer in the Missouri defense. For a Hogs offense that is really vying to get higher into the bowl season, like they want to play on New Year's Day, they have to have a good showing here and get this win. But early in the game, there's a negative point differential for Missouri in the first half of games versus second halves. Arkansas, on the other hand, they have a positive point differential, top 25 this season. And this is just, we should be able to bowl them over in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Arkansas in the first half making a statement in Fayetteville, getting that battle line trophy.
Hey, Brett, it took Collin only, 5 minutes into the show to bring up Arkansas football. I actually like the under there. Missouri's defense is shockingly playing a lot better now under Steve Wilkes. Brett, how are you feeling? Is this a boom weekend for you? How you feeling, and where you going with your best bet?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my game's already kicked off since after Collin's breakdown, so I have to go to my second pick. Stuckey, I agree with a lot of things you said about New Mexico and Utah State. I like Utah State minus 17. You mentioned Bryson Carroll, a former graduate manager. He's expected to start at quarterback for the Lobos. He will be the 7th different starting quarterback in 19 games since Danny Gonzalez became coach at New Mexico. But look, on offense, they are the lost Lobos. They've scored more than 14 points only one time in the last 10 games. On the flip side, Utah State with Blake Anderson, incredible turnaround this year. They're averaging 37 points on the road. Hopefully that doesn't hurt your understuck. Look, Breaking Bad, it's set in Albuquerque, one of the greatest TV shows ever. Breaking Bad also describes New Mexico against the spread this year, 1 in 10 against the spread. You have to try really hard to do that. Aggies roll, and they continue to keep their slim Mountain West title hopes alive.
I mean, 37 should be fine here. I mean, it's hard for me to see Mexico getting more than 10 points.
I agree.
Yeah, on offense. All right, so let's move on to our first marquee game of the day. We're going to stay in the Mountain West, and we're going to head to Carson, California, as San Diego State hosts Boise State. This game is 2 hours. This is an odd game, by the way. This is 2 hours from campus, which is where San Diego State plays their home games, at 9 a.m. local. 9 a.m. local time, they're kicking this game off. Boise State is up to a 3-point favorite. Over-under sitting around 44.5. Collin, I think you were talking about some chicken and pasta that San Diego State was having at 6 a.m. Where are you going with this one?
I mean, you want to know how deep we go. You and I once did a Sarcadic Rhythms talk when Army hosted Hawaii one time, right? So, I mean, this is one of those weird 9 a.m. local kickoff times. It's a 115-mile bus drive for San Diego State to play as a home team. Now, they bust last night, but they got up and had a spaghetti and chicken dinner pre-game meal because Brady Hoke says that's what we do before every game. Like last week they played in Las Vegas. That thing didn't kick until most of us were all in bed. So from a Circadian Rhythms perspective, having a spaghetti and chicken dinner at 5:30 in the morning is one thing, but they only filled this stadium with 8,000 people for the game against Towson. There may not be 800 fans in this stadium for this game, which is a big, massive advantage for the defenses, being able to hear audibles, call things out, and adjust. This is a Boise State team. They've not gone over the total in any road game this season whatsoever. Every game for Boise State on the road has been under. And if you look at their last 2 wins, New Mexico and Wyoming, just 2 explosive drives in 21 offensive possessions. The offense is methodical. It's not fast. This is 2 of the best special teams units in the nation. I'll take Matt Araiza pinning Boise State on the 1 every single time. Give me the under here.
Under San Diego State under from Collin. I don't know what is going on. It's after everything that I ate yesterday and how I feel. Hearing about a chicken and spaghetti dinner at 6 a.m. does not make my stomach feel well. But I agree with you on the under. But for my best bet, I'm going to go with Boise State money line here. The points are going to come at a premium, which is why I don't like laying the 3 here. But I think Boise State's being undervalued in the market. Number one, there's not much of a home field advantage here in Carson. And like you said 800 fans. Maybe there's not even 80 for this 9 a.m. kick. Boise State's defense under Andy Avalos and, a brand new staff has finally started to figure it out, especially after the bye. Defensive line healthy. They made some changes at corner. They had to deal with a lot of players, key players, future pros who missed key halves because of targeting. This defense is now fully healthy and rolling. Meanwhile, San Diego State, Matt Ariza has been winning games with his leg punting the ball. He's been the most valuable player on that team by far. But Boise State is a top 20 special teams unit. The special teams advantage here is neutralized. These are two great defenses. Boise State average offense. San Diego State awful offense. This is a bottom 20, arguably bottom 20 offense in the country. Hank Backmeyer will make enough plays through the air to win this game. The Boise State defense is being undervalued here. Give me the Broncos. Brett, where are you going?
Bad news, Stuckey. I agree with you. I like Boise State minus the field goal. Look, we have an unranked team favored against a ranked team. Where have we last seen that? How about Utah and Oregon a couple of weeks ago? We know how that ended for Oregon. I think the same thing happens with San Diego State. The Aztecs have two things going for them right now. They have the greatest punter on the planet, and they are the luckiest team in college football. They have had 6 games decided by 8 points or less. They are 6-0 in those games. That is going to turn around. And you're right, Stuck. Boise State took its lumps early, but they've been a different team the second half of the season. I think San Diego State also could be a little bit worn down. Not only do you have the early start, this is the 8th consecutive week San Diego State has played. Boise State had a bye last month. Since then, they've won 4 straight by an average of 21 points. I think Boise State wins this game. There's no home field advantage. This is a neutral site. Broncos win, and they also keep their Mountain West championship hopes alive.
Yeah, you said that Boise State had a bye last week and
last month.
But I would agree. They played New Mexico last week, so that's basically
well, that's true. Both. They've
had
2 buys in the last month.
2 buys. So yeah, that's going to help. But yeah, I agree. I mean, Boise State, look, there's a whole new staff on offense and defense. You brought in Tim Plow, offensive coordinator. George Holani now back at running back. So like you could tell that the offense and the defense have evolved, and they're really starting to find their footing and understand what's being asked of them. So I think that this Boise team is definitely on an upward trend after some early struggles. All right, let's take a little halftime break here. Collin, let's get into our round robin moneyline parlay. This will be for the entire weekend. So for today and for tomorrow. Why don't you kick things off with our anchor?
Well, let's get Brett McMurphy a little excited here about his alumni, because Jim Knowles is going to win the Broyles Award and Oklahoma State is going to win Bedlam. We just listened to our big bets on campus podcast. Enough said with that game tomorrow kicking off. Oklahoma State, that 80-1 we talked about on Sources on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Big value on the Pokes here. They're going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm now a believer, Brett. I agree with that anchor. And I'll throw another small favorite in here as a co-anchor. I'm going to go with Penn State, small favorite over Michigan State. Penn State can't run the ball. Great. They're going to come out and throw it against one of the worst secondaries in all of Power 5 in Michigan State. Sean Clifford should have a big day. Give me Penn State. Where are you going next?
You and I talk about this with college basketball. We talk about this in any sport. Whenever you lose something that's cancerous to the team, a team always responds. So we're going to go with Florida and Anthony Richardson, AR-15, without limitations whatsoever, and an entire roster that has so much talent. They covered it, almost beat Alabama this season. So give me Florida with no limitations on what they're going to do from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, this spread could have been, 2 touchdowns higher a month ago. And Florida's going like this, but this is a rivalry game. Kids that all know each other. I expect them to get up here. I agree there. Let's go with a dog here. I'm going to go with Colorado State against Nevada. Look, Nevada had a chance to win the Mountain West a couple weeks ago. Now they're headed, they lost 2 heartbreaking games. Now they're headed to Colorado State playing for nothing. They already have 7 wins. I think there's value with Colorado State here. Give me the Rams. It also wouldn't shock me. I don't have any information here. There's not even any rumors, but if Nevada sat a couple people, because this game really is meaningless to them. What do you got next?
Well, a game that's meaningless is probably Texas A&M taking on LSU. So we're going to take LSU heads up in Coach O's last game, coaching the Bengal Tigers. It's a rivalry game. This has been pretty heated between these two schools. There's going to be a max effort for all the players on the LSU staff. Mason Smith is back on the defensive line. It's going to be a max effort in Coach O's last game ever. And what's Texas A&M playing for? I think Ole Miss pretty much locked up a possible Sugar Bowl bid last night.
And my final pick here, I'll go with Boston College against Wake Forest at home. I think this game should be closer to a pick than where it's sitting right now. with Jerkovich back for Boston College. Boston College, look, if they want to run the ball out, great. You can run all day on Wake Forest. Boston College's pass defense is also a little better than its run defense. That's good here as well. Anyone can score on this Wake defense. Like, this will probably be a field goal game. They've played many of them all year. Wake Forest defense made Clemson look competent on offense. That's bad. Give me BC here. Where you going?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up with North Texas, a game that is quickly going down. It's going to be under 10 here, probably by kickoff tomorrow. Some weather deteriorating in the Denton area. But more importantly, Seth Luttrell is coaching for his job. He needs a paycheck. We don't know if he can get hired on elsewhere, but they are a covering machine. North Texas has just been bank week after week. Luttrell's trying to make a bowl here. They only have 5 wins on the season. They're taking on a UTSA team that's already hosting the Conference USA Championship game next week. Not sure they really want to make this drive up there and play this game. And I've talked about it this week. I mean, you kind of opened up my eyes, Stuck, with the UAB game. That UTSA is bottom 5 in second order win total. They've been really lucky obtaining those 10 wins this season. So I think Luttrell gets it done. North Texas goes bowling.
All right, good stuff there with our round robin underdog moneyline parlay. We do have one final game to get to, and that is tonight in between North Carolina and North Carolina State. This game has ACC championship implications for NC State. Everyone out there, I hope, is unless you're a Clemson fan, rooting for things to not break Clemson's way here, I assume. But NC State is currently sitting as a 6-point favorite over the Heels. Collin, where are you going here?
I'm going to take the under in this game. I mean, I project this at 60, and we have to wonder about the status of Sam Howell. You and I talked about it on the podcast. He was held out last weekend for precautionary reasons. He's going to be selected extremely high in the NFL draft. He finishes up his college work here in a couple weeks in December, and he's going to the NFL. So I'm not sure why he would play this game. Now, offensive coordinator Phil Longo on Monday was kind of excited about taking a deeper look at underclassmen quarterbacks Jacoby Criswell and Drake May. So if you can see them playing this game and Howell not playing, it's just a rumor. We haven't seen anything updated, but it's going to be a heavy rush attack from North Carolina. And, you know, that I don't think Sam Howell's going to play anyways. Why would you want your last game to be against a Tony Gibson, a defensive coordinator running a 3-3-5 for the Wolfpack that is 8th in the nation in pass breakups? I don't think these underclassmen quarterbacks are going to throw against NC State. I don't think Sam Howell wants to come back and throw against this back 5. That's just it's a recipe for disaster. You look at NC State, their offense, they're not that fast and they haven't been that successful. They have a tempo rank of 89th. Their standard down success rate is 90th, which means they have a large amount of possessions where they have 3 and outs. They don't move the chains very often. It's just all under here for me, especially with Sam. We don't know anything about Sam Howell, but even if he plays, this Wolfpack defense is good enough to stop the pass.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, I would think that Sam Howell, one of the reasons he would play, this is like a legacy game. This is, essentially UNC's Super Bowl this year after a very disappointing year. Try and spoil NC State's season. But you're right. He has a pro career to worry about. And if he's not fully healthy, I doubt that he or the staff wants him to go. I do like UNC here a lot if Hal is a go. So I'm going to be watching to see if he is a go closer to game time. I think this line is too high if Hal is fully healthy and is playing. This NC State defense has been great all year, but I do think that they're a little overvalued in the market. Number one, they've lost 4 starters to injury. And number 2, their schedule. I mean, they've benefited. They might play another backup tonight. They played Florida State with Mackenzie Milton after there was a flu outbreak at Florida State. The difference between Florida State's offense with Milton and Travis is night and day. Same thing with Boston College. They played Boston College when Jerkovich was out. So I think that some of their defensive metrics are a little overvalued here, and they've lost a number of key players. So keep your eye out on Hal's status. If Hal does play, I like UNC here. Brett, where are you going?
I'm going with the NC State minus the 6. You guys, broke it down regarding Sam Howell. We don't know if he's going to play or not. There's the uncertainty surrounding him and the Carolina offense. But even so, I think North Carolina State has been the better team, the more consistent team all year. North Carolina State ranks 19th in yards per play. North Carolina is 39th. I mean, North Carolina is either the most overrated team of the season or the most disappointing team of the season based on preseason expectations. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Also, NC State looking to avenge 2 blowout losses to their hated rivals from North Carolina. But the biggest thing for me, guys, is this disparity between the teams home and away. NC State is perfect at home this year, has won every game. North Carolina is winless away from Chapel Hill, with or without Sam Howell. NC State, a theme with a lot of my picks, keeps their ACC title hopes alive and takes care of the Tar Heels in Raleigh.
Brett rolling with the Wolf Pack. All right, good stuff there. We will be back, by the way, tomorrow morning. We will cover 4 marquee games. I bet you can guess which games they are. We'll have our best bets as well. And if you want to be heard on the Big Bets on Campus podcast, you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And you need to just call and vent about anything this weekend, or you just want to talk about what you ate, feel free to do so. 959 Bad Beat. Thank you for tuning in. Good luck this weekend.